Welcome back to the channel. So today we've got the brand new X3. It's the G45 chassis. This is our HEA. I always forget what the German stand for. I'll probably try and put it down below. But basically it's the dealer first spec, I think is how it translates to. So they had to rush this car over to us. It's been sitting in Spartanburg for quite some time. And the launch of this vehicle is October 5. And we are at September 30th right now. So the car just arrived over the weekend. It is in black sapphire. Now, we didn't have any choice about what colors that we would get on this demonstration models. Our base model X3 is also in black sapphire, same spec. It's really annoying. That said, black sapphire doesn't do, I don't think, justice to this car. It hides the lines. I wish we had something else like Dune Gray, or perhaps something like Mineral or Alpine White, or even Brooklyn Gray. But this is what we have and what we're stuck with. So begin up front with the front end, of course. So obviously it's a redesigned grille. We have new headlight design and new daytime running lights. We'll have that momentarily. So in terms of the size of this car compared to the previous generation, I wish I had another X3 right next to it. But you're looking at, it's an inch shorter in terms of height. It's an inch wider in width and an inch longer in length. And it's got the same wheelbase. So dimension-wise, it's very similar to the previous generation X3. But we'll begin up front here with our headlights. So you can see it is now just a single headlight like you see on the 2 Series and now the 4 Series. But sort of like a, I don't know what to call these daytime running lights. But obviously it's a much more unique design than what you get on all the other BMWs currently. So we have the illuminated kidney grille on this one. See M badging here. And the grille, it's kind of a weird design. You can see the offset parking assistance camera there. It's just kind of weird in terms of placement. I think the 5 Series had the placement over here, but it's not centered. Grille, you can sort of see behind it, double stack kidney grille in the horizontal orientation. Lots of black, and then you got the intakes down here and the rest of the front bumper. This one does have driving assistant professional, which I believe the sensors are here on this one. All right, so move to the side here. And I believe these wheels are style 1035M or 1036M. Whatever it is, I'll drop it down below. They are 20-inch wheels. You can opt for 21s as well. Not sure about if they have 22s on this one here, but I think a 20-inch wheel is a pretty good size on this one. 21s would also look a little bit better. We also have blue M Sport calipers. The wheel design, I think, quite on the busy side. So lots going on. So gone are like the simple wheel designs where you'd see a star design or something like that. And here is the side profile. Again, apologize, the car is dirty. Our wash is broken. Took along with our AC being broken in the store. So it's been fun when temperatures are in the mid-90s, like we're gonna get later on this week. But it's a monolithic design. And it's hard to see the lines on this one here. So very similar to what you see on the X1. You can see the door handles are flush against the door here. And no comfort access on the rear doors. New thing going on. And there's that 3/4 view. Out back, obviously a new design here too. So sort of carrying on the Halo Energy Sword tail lights, but not quite there. You can't quite grab it, but same idea, I think. I think they look pretty good. X3 and M50. It's going to be hard to say, not say M50i, but that's what we're working with now. So the I is being dropped across the lineup. You can see very large M font compared to the 50 badging there. Your reversing light down below like on the 5 Series. Now, In terms of exhaust tips, so obviously this is more of a controversial thing. It's got the 4 exhaust tips that you normally see on a BMW, or it's going to be a full-blown M rather than an M Lite like this one here. So that's something new that's come to the X1 and the X2, and now obviously the X3. Chrome exhaust finishers, sort of a faux diffuser going on here as well. So the base model 30, I want to say 30i, X3 xDrive 30, it's going to be hidden. So it's going to be just like the X1 and X2, the exhaust tips are going to be hidden from view on those models. And there's that rear 3/4 view. We'll make our way inside, go over all the pricing and options and the new look cockpit. So pause here at the side profile. I think pretty aggressive looking, like a sloping roof line up here. I think the side profile looks pretty good. Of course, the grille design is going to be different across the M Performance model that we have here and the regular X3. You can see the mirror caps, M style-ish. All right, so opening up, we have the black Vaganza. So Vaganza new to the X3, so gone is the Sensatech. And there are now merino leather options on the X3. So before it was Renasca, so I think it's an improvement. So you get some of the Vaganza here on the door card, hard plastic on the upper portion here, and sort of like a cloth thing going on here. So now controls for the seat settings are over here on this haptic feedback thing. I'm not sure I really like this. You got X3 badging here, your lock and unlock, and then this thing here, that's a slider for the vent, side vent I should say. Then you got ambient lighting going around the door handle. And then your usual controls here for windows, locking out people, and mirror settings. And then got the tailgate button there. All right, so in terms of seats, I'd say they're fairly comfortable. You got quilting going on, perforation, some contrast stitching, decently bolstered. And then you got bolsters here on the thigh, plus a manually powered trim catcher here. Controls down here for side bolster and lumbar support. Now, no badging on the door sill, so that's a new BMW thing. It's going away. Don't know why. Well, maybe cost savings, right? Now we got the ambient lighting. This is in sport mode, so you get red and blue. So at least visible over here. Your new M Sport steering wheel. It's a flat bottom steering wheel. M badging. Then you got M stitching. You got your shift pedals, which look pretty nice in basically high gloss black. The other big change is the light control. So no longer like a switch down here that's at the end of this stock. Get it over here. So your menu button, basically pressing that will bring up all the lighting stuff, and you basically a roller switch here to select what lights you want. So this one's an auto. You got their high, then low beams, etc. Also get a stripe here at the 12 o'clock. And for me, this is also new. So iDrive 9 live cockpit. So first non-X1, X2 vehicle to get iDrive 9. So it looks very similar to 8.5 in terms of layout. Then you got the heads-up display. Now, I will note there is a new heads-up display option. Let's see if I can get to it. Confident driving in unfamiliar curves. I know it's very hard to see. I hope to have it. It's called Curve Ahead View. And it works pretty well. So what it will display, and hopefully I'll get it the next day or two, is in your heads-up display, the curve of the road coming up. I did get it to work on 237 coming into here, but it's not going to work on the in-town roads. So I think a pretty good feature to have. Then we got our rest of our curve display. This is iDrive 9. So if you've messed around with the X1 and X2, you get an idea of what it looks like, but this is a much bigger screen now. So it looks very similar to 8.5 in terms of operation. So you get your elements here for ventilated, heated, and steering wheel. And then slightly different menus too. So if we go, I should say also touch control plus an iDrive controller. So kudos for having that iDrive controller for the X3. Right, if we go to doors and windows, slightly different layout in terms of getting the features. So before it was like a different tile for the comfort access, unlock and lock while approaching and walking away. And then the sound is no longer in the system settings, it's actually within media. I'll go ahead and hit the media here and go all the way over to the right here, that little cog, and go to sound. And it's in here. Now that said, the sound system sounds really good. I think it's an improvement over the Harman Kardon sound system in the G01 chassis. I don't know how many speakers it has, but definitely sounds better than what we've had before. And then you can see the dashboard here feels like the Vaganza material. You can also choose for a woven dashboard. We have that on a few X3s coming in, so we'll have to wait and see what that looks like in person. Then you do get an interaction bar like you have on the 5 series and the 7 series. So you got your vent controls here in terms of turning it off or simply closing it and opening it, hazard lights, etc. Controls down here, so you don't get the nipple clamps that you do on other vehicles to adjust where the air is blowing. All right, so the trim is the M fine brushed aluminum or aluminium trim. It only appears here on the dashboard and then down here in the center console area. So that's all you're getting in terms of trim. So it's not a lot. So over here we have wireless charging on this side. You got USB-C charging ports here, and this is just a holder on the right-hand side. Got this M badging going on here, and more of that ambient lighting going around, and cup holders. All right, so center console area. Got your gear selector nub that is new to the X3. And then you got the iDrive controller. It feels like the ones on the iX and the 5.7 and the 5 and 7 series. Difficult to use at first if you're used to the old controllers. It's a very different feel. Then you got the roller ball there for the wheel. Then you got the wheel control here for the volume. Got your My Modes. Press that. It brings up the modes. See personal, sport, efficient, expressive, etc. All right, in here, it's just storage. So you have a 12-volt adapter there, but you don't have any USB-C charging ports in there, or even USB-A's. All right, starting price, the 2025 X3 M50i is $64,100. So it's a slight increase in price over the G01 chassis, but you do get a few more standard features, including heated seats. That's true across the entry-level model as well. So Black Sapphire Metallic adds another $650. The Vaganza is included. Got Driving Assistance Pro for $1,700. That said, it's not like the Highway Assistant. It doesn't have that feature that the bigger cars have. So it's very similar to what it was on the G01 chassis. With that, you do get ACC stop and go and hands-free operation up to 40 miles per hour. So very similar to that ACC stop and go or extended traffic jam assistant. You have assisted driving of speeds up to, I think, 130 miles per hour, but it's hands-on. So that's how you get assisted driving at highway speeds. Premium package for $2,700. And that includes the Active Driving Assistance Pro, Harman Kardon sound system, interior camera, head-up display, and Parking Assistance Plus. All these other things are included. It was 1036 amps. And front ventilated seats for $500. But everything else is standard on the vehicle. All told, MSRP of this particular example, $70,825. The other thing to note is the moonroof is gone. So you do get a panoramic glass panel. It does not open, but we're going to head open up the glass in the top of the back seat. It's a pretty big panel of glass, as you'll see very shortly. All right, so it's still opening up. So it basically goes from the dashboard all the way back to the back of the rear seats. So it's a very large panel, similar to what you see on the iX. It does not have any LED highlights in there or lights in there. All right, and here's a view of the cockpit from the back seat. So simplified design, obviously very few buttons in comparison to the G01 chassis. Now, down below, you do have an option for a third climate control zone for the rear passengers. This one does not have it. So you just have vents. And then you got USB-C charging ports down there. And you do have the travel and comfort system in the car, but no USB-C charging port there. So you have two available ports in the back for your rear passengers. The back of the seats do have netting there for storage. And very interesting design of the back seat. It looks pretty thin, and that head restraint also looks unusual. Now, that said, kneeroom and legroom I think is pretty good. And headroom, obviously not much of an issue in the back of the X3. So you get lots of room in the X3. And it's the same wheelbase again as the outgoing G01 chassis. All right, we'll move to the back here. We can utilize the kick to open. There it goes. All right, so cargo area. I think it's slightly larger than the outgoing G01. But that said, you do lose a little bit of room here because you do have a spare tire now for the M Performance models. So not a lot of storage space down below. You can fold down the rear seats for even more room as well. And that said, there's also no place to hide this cargo cover that you could before in the trunk. Actually, hold on. I think you probably fit it here. Let's see if I can do that one-handed. It looks like this will, actually no, you know it doesn't fit because of this damn spare wheel. If I turn it around. Yeah, I think it'd fit if that spare wheel wasn't there. So that's a little bit disappointing. But there's definitely space for it if you didn't have the spare wheel. So put it back up in here, try and do this all one-handed. Slides in, close that thing up. All right, we'll make our way to the front and pop the hood to talk about the other changes on the X3 Performance model. So there's going to be no X3M. I think you have to wait for the full electric version for that to come out. So underneath the hood here is the B58 inline-six 3-liter turbo engine. It's a mild hybrid setup, and horsepower is increased by 11, so it's 393 horsepower, and a significant bump in torque. I think it's like 49 more torques. So looking at 428 torques on this thing. And that said, this thing is really quick. Is it the same level as the X3M? Probably not, but it's got a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque, more power than you'll need on your daily driving. But look forward to getting a few more videos on this new X3 and some driving experiences on it, especially with the assisted driving and this curve ahead function. So I think it would be pretty cool to see. But that's it for our first look at the X3. We'll see you at the next video. All right, apologies for mix up here. So I meant to do an exhaust note recording. So what I'm going to do, this isn't clearly obvious, is I've got a second microphone. I'm going to place the microphone somewhere down here, get in the car, which is where my camera will be because I've only got one thing to film with right now, and we'll do some revs from inside. So we get the sound from the outside plus a little bit of the inside. The car is in Sport Plus mode. This is the drivetrain is in Sport Plus. The car's also been warmed up. So we're going to do a few revs here, just to hear what this thing sounds like. But that's it for the sounds of the exhaust of the M50.